Picture this. You're halfway across the world, clutching onto royal titles like they're the last slice of pizza at a university party, while your own family is basically treating you like that relative who shows up uninvited to Christmas dinner. Welcome to Prince Harry's latest chapter in what I like to call the Chronicles of Delusion, American Edition. Today we're diving headfirst into the absolute circus that is Harry's desperate attempt to keep those shiny HRH titles for his American-born children, and trust me, the royal experts are not holding back. They're serving up criticism so brutal it makes Gordon Ramsay look like a kindergarten teacher having a gentle chat about finger painting. So grab your tea, your crumpets, or your overpriced Starbucks latte, because we're about to unpack why Harry's latest royal fantasy has more holes than Swiss cheese and why even his own brother William is essentially giving him the royal equivalent of being left on read. But first, let's talk about this passport drama that's got everyone's knickers in a twist. Harry's apparently been having a royal meltdown because UK authorities keep repeatedly delaying his children's passports. Now, before you start feeling sorry for the poor Duke, here's where it gets juicy. Sources are suggesting these delays might have something to do with those precious HRH styles that Harry's clinging to like a toddler with a security blanket. Think about it for a second. You've got a man who spent years telling the world how toxic and terrible the royal institution is, how it nearly destroyed his mental health, how it's this big bad machine that chews people up and spits them out. But when it comes to those fancy letters before his kids' names, suddenly he's more protective than a mother bear defending her cubs. It's like complaining about how awful your ex is to everyone who'll listen, then getting upset when they won't let you keep wearing their varsity jacket. The cognitive dissonance is so strong you could power half of California with it. Now here's where Buckingham Palace enters the chat with all the diplomatic grace of a swan that's secretly planning world domination. They've strongly denied that King Charles or any palace aides had anything to do with these passport delays. That's royal speak for, don't even think about blaming us for this mess, Harry. It's the equivalent of your parents saying they're not angry, just disappointed, but with more centuries of tradition backing it up. But wait, there's more. Because apparently Harry and Meghan have this grand plan where they want to keep Archie and Lilibet's titles so the kids can decide for themselves later whether they want to use them. It's like keeping your high school Letterman jacket just in case you suddenly develop athletic abilities in your 30s. Theoretically possible, practically delusional. Here's where reality comes crashing down like a house of cards in a hurricane. The Sunday Times, bless their investigative souls, dropped a report that's basically the royal equivalent of a reality check served on a silver platter. According to their sources, under Prince William's future reign, roles for Archie and Lily as working royals are unlikely. That's British understatement at its finest. It's like saying the Titanic had a bit of a water problem. And this is where our story takes a turn from mildly amusing to absolutely savage, because the royal experts have entered the chat and they are not here to play nice. They're bringing the kind of brutal honesty that would make Simon Cowell wince. Royal expert Kinsey Schofield came out swinging with the diplomatic equivalent of a knockout punch. She told Fox News that it's utterly absurd for Harry and Meghan to believe their children might choose to become working royals someday. But she didn't stop there. Oh no, she went for the jugular by calling it delusion that borders on entitlement. Now, when a royal expert uses the word delusion in a sentence about your life choices, that's not just criticism. That's a full-scale intervention. It's like having your therapist, your mother, and your high school guidance counselor all simultaneously telling you that maybe, just maybe, you need to reassess your life goals. Schofield didn't hold back, pointing out the rather obvious fact that these are American children who've been raised oceans away from the monarchy, with no exposure to the customs, culture, or continuity that define royal life. It's like expecting someone who's never seen snow to excel at Olympic skiing. Technically possible, but you're going to need a miracle and probably several years of intensive training. But if you thought Schofield was harsh, Helena Chard was waiting in the wings with commentary so blunt it could cut glass. She told the outlet that Prince William won't be thinking of giving the Sussex children formal future royal roles, and called the very idea ludicrous. When royal experts start throwing around words like ridiculous, you know you've crossed a line from ambitious into fantasy territory. Char drove the point home by noting that the children are being raised in America and do not have any understanding of the British royal family. It's like expecting someone who's grown up eating hamburgers and hot dogs to suddenly become a master of traditional British cuisine. Sure, they might figure out how to make a proper cup of tea, but understanding the subtle art of cucumber sandwiches and the proper etiquette for garden parties? That takes years of cultural immersion that simply hasn't happened. Here's what makes this whole situation particularly fascinating from a psychological perspective. Harry's essentially trying to have his cake and eat it too, except the cake is on a different continent and the bakery has changed ownership. He wants his children to have all the prestige and potential benefits of royal titles while living a completely unroyal life in Montecito, California. It's like wanting to be a professional athlete while refusing to train, show up to games, or even watch the sport on television. The disconnect between expectations and reality is so vast you'd need a telescope to see across it. And let's talk about the broader implications here, because this isn't just about two kids and some fancy letters before their names. This is about the fundamental question of what it means to be royal in the 21st century. The monarchy isn't a club you can dip in and out of when it's convenient. It's not like a gym membership you can freeze when you're traveling and reactivate when you feel like working out again. Being a working royal requires dedication, understanding of protocol, knowledge of British history and culture, and most importantly, a genuine commitment to serving the institution and the people. It's not something you can phone in from California between Netflix meetings and podcast recordings. William understands this better than anyone. As the future king, he's not running a charity for distant relatives who occasionally remember their royal when it suits them. He's building a streamlined, efficient monarchy for the modern age, and that doesn't include part-time royals who pop up when they need something but disappear when there's actual work to be done. The irony here is absolutely delicious. Harry spent years complaining about the constraints of royal life, the lack of freedom, the suffocating protocols. But now he wants his children to have access to those same titles and potential roles while living completely outside the system that creates and maintains them. It's like complaining about how restrictive your old job was while still expecting to use the company car and expense account. But here's the real kicker in all of this. Even if, by some miracle, Archie and Lilibet grew up desperately wanting to become working royals, what exactly would that look like? Would they commute from California for royal engagements? Set up a satellite royal office in Beverly Hills? Start a royal reality show called Keeping Up with the Windsors, Pacific Coast Edition? The logistics alone are more complicated than planning a moon landing. The cultural gap is wider than the Atlantic Ocean they'd have to cross regularly. And the political implications of having American-raised royals representing the British monarchy? That's a diplomatic nightmare waiting to happen. What we're witnessing here is the collision between Harry's nostalgic attachment to his royal heritage and the reality of the choices he's made. He wants his children to have options he never felt he had, but he's forgotten that those options come with obligations, expectations, and a level of commitment that can't be maintained from 5,000 miles away. The royal experts aren't being cruel when they call this delusional. They're being realistic about what royal service actually requires. It's not a part-time job you can do remotely. It's not a hobby you pick up when you're feeling patriotic. It's a lifelong commitment to an institution that demands everything and gives back meaning, purpose, and yes, incredible privilege, but only to those who fully embrace what it means to serve. So where does this leave us? Well, Harry can keep hoping and scheming all he wants, but the writing's on the wall in letters so large you can see them from space. William's future monarchy won't have room for distant American cousins playing royal dress-up when the mood strikes them. The HRH titles might stay on paper, gathering dust like participation trophies from a childhood sport nobody remembers playing. But meaningful royal roles? Working royal status? That ship hasn't just sailed, it's disappeared over the horizon and is probably halfway to Australia by now. And honestly, maybe that's exactly as it should be. Because at the end of the day, the monarchy works best when everyone involved is fully committed to the cause, not when they're trying to have one foot in Montecito and one foot in Buckingham Palace. What do you think? Is Harry being delusional about his children's royal future, or is there still a chance for them to bridge the gap between their American upbringing and their British heritage? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more royal drama that's juicier than your favorite reality show. Trust me, with this family, there's always another plot twist just around the corner, and you won't want to miss it when it drops.